It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
We come up from back. We're ready to go. The Pete Sousa Show. We're here. It is Thursday, basically feeling like a Friday. I love days like this. You come in the building. There's really nobody here, kind of like a skeleton crew. You feel like you can kind of do whatever you want. You do. I've always working in sports, right? You always work like weird days. And sometimes you go in buildings where nobody else is there because it's like, a sports day, like an event day. I like that. I like how sports keeps us going 24/7, and even in the off season, it does. We're going to talk a lot about how that clock doesn't stop, and the NBA free agency and the NBA coaching situation. Most recently with Mike Brown being named the head coach of the Knicks, which it just doesn't stop, and a lot of it to me feels a little ridiculous, and I want to start with the Mike Brown thing, but I also want to begin with saying the Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovacek's, baby, and Sikora Family Ford. Thank you so much. You got to go to Slovacek's, though. Get a kolache. We talked yesterday about it. This is the time of year when people are traveling. You're hungry. You want to refuel. You want to rejuvenate. That's why you stop at Slovacek's, right off of 35 and West. It's on the way, and it should be your destination. But either way, you got to go to Slovacek's. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, my guys, there you go. I got to give my boy Danny Daniel a call, see how he's doing. Crawford Austin Properties, everybody, thank you so much for making this happen. The Knicks finally made it happen with the head coach, and I look at that situation and I say, wow, the Knicks actually made out really well. Like, when you think about the situation, hang on, Scotty's disagreeing. When you think about how bad it could have gone, like the Knicks, the Knicks are it's very familiar territory with us here in as I fix my Eagles helmet in North Texas, Central Texas, whatever, Cowboys fans, because this was so similar to the Jerry Jones Cowboys situation in the offseason when they let go of Mike McCarthy. It was like Mike McCarthy gets fired, but there's no plan. And the same thing with the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau is let go. There was no plan. Apparently, good reporting is that they were going to fire him. They made the decision to fire him before the playoffs, which I guess made the decision a little more difficult after they almost made the NBA Finals. But either way, we all know about the candidates that all weren't candidates, right? Because their NBA teams, starting with Dallas and finishing with Houston, they would not allow the Knicks to talk to their coaches. And finally, you end up with Mike Brown. And the reason I think this is like a real home run hire for them is because it's on the heels of this disaster. That is my point. Like, this is the best you could get in the situation. Mike Brown has been to the finals, right? With LeBron and a bag of Doritos. Like that team that he went to the finals with in 2007 was not good. Okay. He also was an assistant on many Golden State Warriors teams that went to the championship. He has I think he's 50-40 in the NBA playoffs. And overall, as an NBA coach in the regular season, he's well above 500, almost to 60%. So yeah, he is. He's like 59, 60%, Scotty. Yeah, I get ready for this.
It's not what ChatGPT just told me, but
what do they say? His regular season winning percentage.
Regular season. I thought you said playoffs. I'm sorry.
No. Playoffs, he's 40.
He's 60% the regular season.
Okay, yeah. That's. I mean, look. Here's another thing he knows how to do. He knows how to coach stars, and with his experience with LeBron, his experience with Kobe in LA, he had to follow Phil Jackson there. And he took Sacramento to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. And he was also a good friend of Lance Blanks, who, RIP, was the all-time greatest guy, one of my favorite broadcasting partners ever, Texas basketball legend. But he and Lance were tight. And so I always pull for those guys because Lance was big, very important to me in my career doing play-by-play. But what are you laughing at? Go ahead. Say it now, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm doing
like a little schoolgirl. Bring yourself up and say it, dude.
Man, Pete is getting feisty today.
Well, I mean, so go ahead. Tell me why you don't like them. Out of all the things they could have, I don't think the Knicks deserve Mike Brown. Is kind of my point. Like, if the Dallas Cowboys had ended up with Kyle Shanahan as their coach somehow, right? And he's a really good coach. That's probably a better.
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan is a little better than Mike Brown.
Yeah, okay, but you get my point. If they ended up with like a solid coach out of all, instead of Brian Schottenheimer after all that mess, like, I would have said the Cowboys got way better than they deserve. The Knicks got way better than they deserve with Mike Brown. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what do you think Mike Brown's playoff record is?
50-40.
Without LeBron James. The Knicks, is LeBron James on the Knicks? I mean, I'm just asking a question. What do you think?
Hey, by the way, he might be. That's also in the. I'm not
Listen,
lying.
I know that would be crazy.
That's
that would
in
be
the
crazy.
cards, dude. That's in the cards. But I get that. But I think that's a horseshit argument because
Why?
Because okay, then Phil Jackson basically is the invisible man now. He doesn't. Let's take.
But Phil Jackson has done it with multiple rosters and multiple stars.
Yes, that's a good point.
Okay, so I mean, by the way, I'm consistent. I make this argument with Bill Belichick too. Dude's a losing coach without Tom Brady. Tom Brady went to another franchise and won a Super Bowl within 2 years. Bill Belichick retired. I mean, and was a losing coach before he went to the Patriots. Don't tell Cam I said that. Mike Brown's playoff record is 55-57. You take LeBron James away, his playoff record is 10-24. And so here's my point.
Yeah.
I said when they fired Thibodeau, I was hosting for you. You were on a trip, and I said,
I'm always on a trip.
We love it, dude. But I said, you're not gonna get better than Thibodeau. Like, do we think Mike Brown is a better coach than Thibodeau?
No.
I think they're kind of the same.
They're kind of the same, and maybe you need. He's not the kind of guy like if you look at it as a situation where, okay, if Thibodeau was the guy who was going to get you to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then let's find the guy who's going to get us over the hump to the finals. Mike Brown's not the guy.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I don't think you upgraded at all.
No,
you got a slightly friendlier face.
Yes,
who's probably better with the media and probably better with player relations to some extent. Like, we know that about Mike Brown, but I don't think he's a better basketball coach.
Well, look, again, they better than they deserve. And I will say he's a solid coach, and I do not think he will improve the Knicks as far as I think maybe you get back to another Eastern Conference final, but I mean, we're in agreement there. He's not oh my gosh, the Knicks didn't hit it in the nickel seats with this hire.
Right.
They did, but we know
that's
that.
My point.
But so we agree, but they got better than they deserve. They truly did. I think if they look, dude, I would have been so excited if they had hired Dawn Staley.
I was about to ask you that, yeah.
But that could have been a disaster, right?
This could be a disaster.
Yeah, but not necessarily because we know Mike Brown coaching in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
So look, dude, I get it. But, and you could say he gets fired, but everybody gets fired in the NBA. At some point, everybody gets fired, right? So we'll see what happens with Mike Brown, but I think it's a solid hire. I think it's funny how they,
his regular season winning percentage without LeBron, by the way, drops from 60 to 53.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right, let's get to LeBron and the Lakers.
Speaking of,
the Lakers made a big change. Well, not a big change, a big addition, literally. They signed DeAndre Ayton yesterday, and DeAndre Ayton is if you're the Lakers, right? It's almost like if when I was, I'm so happily engaged right now and getting ready to get married next June. But when you're online, right? And you're flipping through and you're seeing who you might want to date if you're single, and that's how you meet people or, whatever. And you NBA organization wise, you flip by DeAndre Ayton, you're like, wow, look at this, and you're like, look at these measurables, he's knocked my socks off. And seems like a good guy. But you don't get the opportunity when you're on Bumble to reach out and have a day by day of watching their previous relationships, right? How they operated, how they melted down. The NBA actually has the opportunity to do that. Trust me, I'm thank God Christy couldn't watch my day by day before we met because I might still be a free agent, right? But the NBA has that luxury where they can look back at your body of work. And DeAndre Ayton, his body of work is lukewarm at best. And I loved him at Arizona. You remember, he was the guy that Sean Miller was caught on tape talking about, those are federal wiretaps, talking about, giving him $100,000 back. This is 10 years ago now. And that was just one of the many ways that he was getting, allegedly getting resources. But I loved him in college. In the pros, he has had years where he's averaged 18 and 10, but he's such a huge question mark. And unless you're going to find a way to run the floor with him and just make him like Dunk City, or kind of try to make that part of his game offensively. Defensively, he's not great. Like he's not like he's a defensive stopper once you get by Luka, because you're going to get by him, or Austin Reeves, because you just might get by him too. And a 41-year-old LeBron by the time next season starts. So it's not, this is like a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. And I don't know that, you know, a guy like DeAndre Ayton, by the way, it's got to be hard for him. He's made $137 million so far in his career. He's 26 years old. You know, let's jump into that situation mentally. Gosh, I would never have survived in the NBA if I was like a talented 7-footer. I would have ended up like Chris Washburn, thank God. But you know, the gods didn't give me that kind of talent and size. But when you think about like why DeAndre Ayton may struggle in the NBA, now you go back, right? He was the number 1 recruit, a big guy. Everybody wanted him. Everybody's kissing his ass. Coming up on the AAU circuit, was tremendous at Arizona, goes high in the draft. He actually was a key part of Phoenix going to the NBA Finals. So you know it's there. You know it's there, right? My hope for DeAndre Ayton at this phase in his career is that he has similar to, and Mavericks fans can relate to this, like a Tyson Chandler type effect. Like Tyson Chandler was the number 1 recruit in the world basketball wise at a Dominguez High in Compton, California. And, you know, he goes straight to the NBA. If you look hard enough too, there's a piece with him. Leslie Stahl from 60 Minutes did a piece on him when he was like this phenom at 18 years old. It's really cool. You know, she goes to Southern California and prep schools and stuff and sees him play and talks to him about the recruiting. But like when you're that big of a star and that big of a prospect, and you get paid so early on in your career so much money, it's hard to just, I would imagine, just flip a switch and all of a sudden be like about business. And it's also hard to be like, you know, I like to practice gratitude. If I was DeAndre Ayton, I think $137 million earned so far as a professional NBA player might be at the top of my gratitude list, you know? So there's like a lot of, I'm always curious about that, how these guys tick. And I try to be understanding as to why it might be hard for them as young men to be totally like, you know, just gritty, you know, and want it. It makes sense. Now, LeBron James, where does he fit in all this? Yesterday, they asked Bronny after a workout, you know, does your dad talk to you about this kind of stuff? Dave McMenamin posted it on Twitter from ESPN. And it was like an awkward back and forth. You know, Bronny has to lie and say him and his, I mean, it really is like it's like a field day of lies, right? Like, and it's more like cat and mouse, but like, you know, Bronny goes to talk to the media. People are going to ask him, hey, where are you and your dad? Like, are you aligned with your dad if he would leave? What did you think when word came out that he signed the 1-year deal and that he might be looking to move on, or could this be his last year? He's just like, oh, we don't talk about that. Like, as far as you know, these two dudes don't even talk. They're teammates and they're father and son, but they don't discuss anything basketball related. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those deals where you run a business with your wife and you never talk. I have no idea how that works, you know? So there's some interest now in big cities, right? Dallas, New York, and also Cleveland, a bigger city where LeBron could go back there. I think that if LeBron were to end up with Mike Brown in New York, I don't know how that works financially, but I know they could make it work. And, you know, there's a reality, I think, that's sinking in with LeBron and for everybody else that, like, this is now Luka's team. There's no team that's going to work. You know, I always talked about the Lakers. I've talked about the Lakers in that old ownership group. Oh, the old ownership group, the Bus family. They're not old, but, you know, as of a month ago, selling it to Mark Walter and TWG. LeBron won't get like that friendly family feel from this big group, right? Not the same type of treatment that Kobe got with the Bus family or that Magic got with the Bus family. So there is like a hard end coming for LeBron in LA. And I think that that hard end could actually be sooner than we think when we see these alluring possibilities of him parachuting into Dallas, right? Parachuting into New York or parachuting into Cleveland. Those are three teams that are ready to go to a title, especially Cleveland, because the East sucks. At least it looks like it really sucks. We'll find out when they start playing the games. All right, the Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovakics. We're going to come back with some football talk. I had a special conversation yesterday with Britt Reed, son of Andy Reed. And it's not for this show in particular. It's for the show I do about sobriety. Britt is sober now, and he's going around the country kind of sharing where he is at and trying to inspire others with his story. He inspired me yesterday. We're going to play a clip from that. And that'll be up later today. The Payoff with Pete, Stories of Sobriety. That's on the Rogue Media Network. We're also going to talk a little bit about what my man Todd McShay has been saying about Sawyer Robertson, and talk about the college football season. The Pete Sousa Show. Back after this.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
All right, July 3rd, USA, baby. USA. I love it. 4th of July is tomorrow. Everybody, I hope you have a great Independence Day. We still got a little bit of work left to do today and have some fun. This is inspirational work I want to share with you. Yesterday, I have a podcast I've done on recovery here since 2021, so 4 years. And I'm sober. I always redefine this because I don't know who's watching for the first time as this show continues to grow, but I've been sober 13 years. And after I got sober, the more I got into broadcast, play-by-play, I wanted to use my platform, the little one I had, to share my story of recovery and share other people's story of sobriety. And it's been awesome. We've had amazing guests from Lee Steinberg to Ryan Leaf, Doug Overton of the NBA. And yesterday I had an opportunity to talk. I'm all about getting sports guys. We had Chris Terrian, NHL All-Star. The list, it's a big list. And honestly, I'm bad at remembering stuff. So go and look at the payoff on Spotify, Stories of Sobriety. But yesterday I had an opportunity to talk to a dude. It really was special for me. And I think his message is really, it's moving. And his name is Britt Reed. He's Andy Reid's son. Obviously, we all know Andy Reid. Andy Reid could possibly be the best football coach of all time, a genius. And you could tell by talking to Reid, or Britt, excuse me, who now has a full heart and a clear mind with sobriety really, really just coming off him. You could tell. He has an amazing story to share, and he's a really bright guy. But here's a clip from it. It's going to be released later today, so I want folks to check it out when it comes out, the full version. But here's just a clip. This is him talking about, in 2019, the 2019 season, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, beat Kansas City, and the next year they're getting ready to play in the Super Bowl again, and Britt gets in an accident right outside the facility, a DUI wreck where he ends up hurting someone else, and this is him talking about that situation and moving through it.
Drinker. I grew up, my dad had always told me growing up, listen, you come from a long line of alcoholics, right? My dad's the first male on his side of the family not to be an alcoholic. And so I always kind of stayed away from alcohol. But I guess that negative self-talk and the pressure and all that, my coping mechanism for so long was put something in my body that's affecting me from the chin up to deal with this. Right.
Yeah.
And so I started drinking, and the drinking grabbed a hold of me so much faster than anything else, and obviously, the headlines speak for itself, but, 3 days before the Super Bowl, before I'm supposed to coach in my second Super Bowl, I end up getting in an accident and severely injuring another innocent human being because of my decisions and actions,
Yeah.
And, but for that time up until then, I was really just white knuckling it. I didn't go back to the hard stuff. I wasn't doing heroin or anything like that. And so in my mind, again, I'm justifying it, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol's not bad. Alcohol is really not a drug. I mean, it's legal. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. That was, and basically what he dealt with painkiller addiction and heroin addiction for many years, and had kicked that and was, off everything. But the pressure cooker that being an NFL coach kind of presents, especially being the son of an elite Hall of Fame NFL coach, future Hall of Fame NFL coach, there's just a lot of mind games. And to shut that down, he started to drink, which is obviously a relapse, and tragedy. So, but there's light on the other side, and his story now, as he's been sober for 4 years, is one of inspiration, and also one of to use like maybe a religious term, like repentance. So it's an awesome convo. And if you're struggling with alcohol or drugs and you need a place to go where you can just drop in and listen, the payoff with Pete, Stories of Sobriety on Spotify, check it out. One of the guys who I used to run the streets with and get in a lot of trouble with, to no fault of his own. This was my fault. Okay. Me and Todd McShay, we lived together in New York City. We went to Richmond together. He's been a guest on this show. He's a friend of mine. We're going to have him on back soon. He and Mensch, because we need to talk a little bit about the comments we're about to see him make here. Scotty, I'm going to bring yourself up. I'm going to let you tee this up. McShay's my boy from Richmond. I don't want to make it seem like I'm playing to his strengths or kissing his ass, but Todd's the man, and you like this right here.
I love this. So I saw his write-up after the Manning Academy. What's it called? Is it called Manning Passing Academy?
I think, yeah.
Last weekend, I saw his write-up, and he wrote some nice things about Sawyer Robertson, but it was like half a paragraph worth of, comments. So not much. So then I was listening to his most recent McShay Show podcast, and I'm going to play the clip and let the clip speak for itself. But what I want you to notice when you start watching this clip is how quickly the name comes to his mouth when he's asked a question, and then how long he spends telling you how impressive Sawyer Robertson is. It put a fire under my butt the other day.
And by the way, 1 second, if you're watching this on replay, this might get flagged by YouTube and taken down, but we like to roll the dice around here a little bit, especially when we have amazing commentary like this. So go check out Todd's most recent show, right?
Yeah.
If you're,
I think it's the
this.
last one they're going to do until August. I think they're taking a break now, so it should be the most recent McShay Show podcast. Yeah.
All right, so let's check it out. But if it goes blank right here, just go check it out. But yeah, let's roll it.
Quarterback who we haven't done, who hasn't been part of our series yet, and you're looking back now and saying, "Man, we got to get to him."
Sawyer Robertson, Baylor.
Yep.
Blew me away.
Okay.
Mobile enough, not a statue, not stuck in sand, but not a running threat. Okay.
Pocket He's listed at 220. Is he that big? Is he?
I think he carries his weight well. He might be 215.
But he's in the neighborhood.
He'll be 220 when he goes in the NFL. But yeah, 6'4", 220, looked apart. He came out and everyone was, and I even heard Peyton go to one of the directors and was like, "Hey, I just think next year the targets should be a little bit bigger. We're not here to embarrass like the because the first handful of guys were missing a lot. And then he came up and he won the first round. I think he hit all 4 throws. He did. If someone was there and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I'm almost positive he hit all 4 throws. But it was like I had seen him throw earlier in the night before the competition. I'm like, should have done his report. Should have studied his tape. Just really like pocket passer, light enough on his feet with his footwork, anticipation, getting the ball out, placing it well, good understanding for layering, trajectory. I was like, damn, I like this guy. Now to give the backstory on him.
And now you're seeing it in June, by the way, not later in the process. I love that you're seeing that in June now instead of.
It may have been October before we're like, we probably need to do. So now I'm like, I'm taking July off, everybody. I'm done. And I'm making Mensch take July off too. But we're going to be back in August. But at some point before the season starting, I'm going to get to Sawyer Robertson's tape. So just a backstory on him. He transferred to Baylor after 3 seasons at Mississippi State. Okay. And it was 1 year as a starter. And then he started 4 games in 2023. So it was like this escalation. I haven't done much Baylor tape. I haven't gotten into like my preseason college, like all of that. But I'm really excited to see because he chose Baylor for a reason. He transferred to Baylor for a reason. And I'm excited. And yeah, I wrote confident, smooth stroke, trusts his footwork. Like in the moments where the pressure was on, everyone's looking at him. It was drilled in. You can't escape it once it's drilled in, And I found out too, his father, Stan, was a first-round draft pick of the Expos in 1990.
No way.
And and his cousin is Jarrett Stidham.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay.
Oh, hey, guys, hang on. I got to get the Waco Fire Department in here to host Scotty off because there's all kinds of substance over there.
Here's the thing, Pete. Todd McShay doesn't sound like he saw one hole in Sawyer Robertson's game. He talked about layering throws, accuracy, footwork, confidence. Everyone's looking at him, and he's leading the group. Nobody else can hit the targets. Peyton Manning's making comments. Sawyer Robertson's drilling the targets. I'm like, let's go. First round pick locked.
Here's the deal. If you were, and I think Todd, I think all of us, I'm on board with all of that, right? McShay has forgotten more than I'll ever know about football scouting or football in general. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, I do believe that Sawyer is so so engaging and such like a charismatic and like, of course, like, football trumps all, but like that's what happens when you end up meeting somebody like that or being around him. Like there's something special about Sawyer Robertson that I think wins a lot of people over the moment you get
you're absolutely
the moment
correct.
you're in his orbit.
You're
but,
absolutely
but that's part of being a leader. That's why Baylor.
The best quarterbacks have that.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
heck, he's at the Manning Academy. The king of that, what you're talking about, the off the field charisma leadership is Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Like, I mean, come on. Like that's exact. By the way, Bear the Truth, I got to throw this comment up, says, hell yeah, finally on a national stage.
These freaking Baylor guys. I love it, dude. I love it. I love, because there's a lot to be excited about this year.
Well, I think he's that good. I think he's that good.
Yeah, well, he's certainly, I think a lot of people, the first time you see him, and you saw this a lot. I experienced it with broadcasting games. Like when you meet, and he sat right over there. We got to do, I've called him a few of his games, and also we got to interview him in here. And like everybody that finally meets him and talks about him always is gushing, So not only is he the type of dude that does well, but you really want him to do well.
Yeah.
And he also is a guy like looks like Tarzan, plays like Tarzan. Not looks like Tarzan. Like the guy is like right out of Central Casting. He could be a leading man in Hollywood. Like he's that handsome and put together.
Yeah.
So,
have you heard Cowherd on this?
No.
Cowherd for like 20 years has been doing this bit. And I think it's stupid, but I think there's something to it. He calls it quarterback face. He says there's something to, I mean, think about the greats. There's something to being tall, handsome, and charismatic.
Yeah.
That makes you a better quarterback. It doesn't mean you have to be, and we can both think of exceptions to that.
Oh yeah.
But like if you think of most of the great quarterbacks in NFL history, they are tall, they are charismatic, and they are handsome.
Yeah.
Because there is something to that. You've been kind of the alpha your whole life.
Oh, for sure.
You've garnered attention and eyeballs your whole life. It's not going to phase you to get out and lead a group of men on a football field.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, when you have played quarterback, let's say more than likely throughout your high school years, and maybe you played it before that in middle school, grade school, you have gotten used to a ton of people counting on you. You've gotten used to a lot of pressure. You have gotten used to being the guy who is, I'm taking the keys, I'm driving, let's go. I can tell you as a guy who played rush end, right? Like I didn't have any of that. I was just like, let's go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. And try not to get too far upfield that they run right in my gap. Like that's all I cared about. It's pretty simple. Right. Like being quarterback is like, oh my, I can't even.
I mean, it really is true. There's stereotypes at different NFL positions for a reason.
Yeah.
Like defensive ends, a lot of them are the same. Like it's JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Like it is Khalil Mack. Like that's who it is. I mean, kind of to an extent, Micah Parsons. Like they're all kind of similar personality. Wide receivers, it's a lot of divas.
Yeah.
It just is. It's because they want the ball, and when they have the ball, they think they are the baddest mofo on the field, right?
Absolutely.
Cornerbacks, it's the trash talkers. It is Deion Sanders.
Short-term memory.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I'm lining up across from you talking smack, and I am like quarterback.
Yeah.
It's mature, it's handsome, it's leader of men.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a reason Johnny Manziel didn't work in the NFL. He is not mature or a leader of men at the time. Right?
Yes.
Like,
well, and you can get deeper. Like, if you're doing the right stuff in life, or at least as it pertains to your job, you're going to operate at that job with a lot of self-esteem and confidence because you've done the work.
Yes.
If you're the last one to leave the facility and the first one in, you're going to feel pretty good about how ready you are to play in this game.
Agreed.
And people see that in your eyes because you're the leader. If you're not doing that, people look at you like you hear Joe Thomas talk about Johnny Manziel. He's like, this guy, he didn't know if he was on foot or horseback.
Right.
Right. I mean, because of all the stuff that came with him.
Yeah.
And his lack of dedication and desire to be great. Any comments in there?
We had Bear the Truth and Scotty B swapping messages about DeQuan Finn.
Well, guys, did you guys see yesterday? I'm talking to Scotty B and all you guys. They put up a picture of DeQuan Finn. Somebody tweeted it. Was that you? Somebody tweeted.
I retweeted
DeQuan Finn for Heisman last year.
Yeah, last year he was on the Heisman watch list, preseason watch list, which is so funny. Where's he playing, by the way?
Oh gosh,
I bet Scotty B knows. I bet he'll comment in 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't remember where he's playing. Scotty B did say, and I just want to throw this up because I completely disagree. And then I got to throw Fran's tweet up too because I've got a
Shayal there.
Who?
Shayal, our next guest, is he in the waiting room?
He is not here yet.
Okay, cool.
Scotty B says, I have a hunch Utah will make the same mistake with their new transfer QB. I could not disagree more, Scotty B. I think Dampier is really, really, really legit.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people thought Finn was legit too. So entirely possible. But I mean, Dampier, they just told us yesterday, like 1,100 yards and 19 touchdowns on the ground last year or something like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty legit. That's pretty legit.
Taylor McCarg was talking about him yesterday.
Yeah.
I get super excited. But like and I got burnt by DeQuan Finn last year, so I have like a little sticker shock with like a Dampier. But I believe that I don't know. I'm more of a Scotty B than I am with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think there's more.
There we go.
I think like we used to say when I was in the news business, like with Devin Dampier coming to Utah and Utah having such a mess at quarterback last year, I still say, like we used to say in the news, there's more questions than answers.
I mean, I don't think Utah is going to win 10 games, but I think Dampier is going to put up some crazy.
Well, the reason
numbers.
that Scotty B is onto something talking about Dampier is that Utah they have the best odds to win the Big 12, according to the odds makers. Now they're up there with Kansas State and Texas Tech.
That's insane, by the way.
But is it? But is it? I mean, look, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Throw out, honestly, like one thing has come from the Big 12 not doing a preseason poll, and that has been me focusing more on what the Las Vegas odds are on these teams. And honestly, that's probably the way we should have always been doing it.
Yeah.
Because Vegas barely loses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're more right than they are wrong.
It's true.
And they're more right than media members. It's the old saying. That's why they got all those huge buildings out there.
That's true.
You know?
Yep.
So I think I think there's a little bit of pressure there and high expectations on two guys this year in the Big 12. I still think, although we're in love with Sawyer here, I still think Sawyer and Baylor are flying under the radar. I think
nationally, certainly.
Yeah. And Sawyer's done it for a year. I think that like a rock solid year as a starter. I think that Dampier enters the fray and it's brand new. And there's pressure like, okay, we got the guy, because we heard Taylor talk about him yesterday, Taylor McCarg with CBS and ESPN. That situation was such a disaster last year for Utah that, man, they are so thirsty for just some stability at quarterback. So if he doesn't give them that could get like a little messy, I think. I believe that.
I mean, that's a much better situation, I think, though, than what Oklahoma State's got going on.
Yeah.
We know nothing about their guy. Quickly, he is. Quickly, Scotty B says Finn's at Miami, Ohio. So appreciate that. You want to just bring in your boy?
Well, let's go. Let's take our last commercial.
All right.
Last commercial. Then we're coming to Shayal, and then we're going to wrap it up. The Pete Sousa Show. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Talking NBA free agency with one of the youngest geniuses in the game today. Stay with us.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
I'm Hunter, the founder of Hello Cake, and today we're digging into ED meds. The number one thing we hear is that guys are sick of waiting for ED meds to kick in. Traditional ED meds take about an hour to kick in as they have to go through your digestive system, where Hello Cake's ED medication dissolves under your tongue and works in about 15 minutes. That's about 3 times faster than traditional ED medication. Curious about ED meds? Go to hellocake.com.
In Motion is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation. From supplying electric vehicle parts like motors and inverters since the 1960s to creating cutting-edge electric scooters, hoverboards, and unicycles. In Motion is shaping the future of mobility. Whether you're looking for industrial power solutions or accessible personal transport, In Motion has you covered. Explore our products and experience the future of movement. Visit store.inmotionworld.com today.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files, remove malware and viruses, and protect your device. It also optimizes your Mac's hard disk, fixes disk permission issues, and cleans memory, all to boost your Mac's performance to the max. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It's all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic, which is really great for your baby's sensitive skin.
And it's made with Climatech, which regulates your baby's temperature.
You can also get Joy's crib sheets, which are made of the same super soft material.
Joy gave my baby comfort
and gave me peace of mind.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Maud Lily is your go-to for stylish and affordable fashion that fits your life. Whether you're looking for the perfect swimsuit for a beach day, a chic dress for a night out, or cozy tops for everyday wear, Maud Lily has it all. Their extensive collection of swimwear, including bikinis, tankinis, and one-pieces, always keeps you on trend, while their dresses and tops come in flattering styles for every occasion. Visit maudlily.com today.
All right, we're going to bring in my main man, Shayal Karwa-Moricca. Shayal, where you at? Where? There he is. What's happening, Pete? Brother?
I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I'm so happy to have you. So, by the way, are you going to go to the Strength in Numbers camp again this year in LA?
Yeah, I am. I'm going there next week. Yeah.
So Shayal and I met through John Tobias, who we've had on the show. John Tobias has done an amazing job, obviously working with ESPN, but also has started up something called Strength in Numbers. And it's to get unrepresented kids or underrepresented kids, basically give them access to professional sports and college sports, and to let them know that, you know, you can, anybody can get into the sports field, because a lot of times we don't know how to get in, you know, and sometimes people don't get the opportunity. Strength in numbers is helping getting people that opportunity. Even handsome guys like Shayal, who already look like they got it all going on. And Shayal, what was your experience, by the way, going to that camp last year?
It was really incredible. I've never been to a camp like that. They had so many interesting guests come in throughout the sports world, like sports agents, sports business people, and they talked about what they did. And then we also visited a lot of stadiums like Dodger Stadium, BMO Stadium. So it was just a really cool experience.
Yeah, what was your favorite part of it?
My favorite part would have to be when the sports agent came in. Her name was Ashley Combs, and before that, I hadn't really had much of an interest in being a sports agent in the future, but her presentation kind of inspired me to look into that, and now that's kind of my future. I hope to be my future job. So yeah.
My man. Okay, well, you're joining us now from LA, and you're not just here wasting your time. You're gonna drop some knowledge on us, NBA free agency wise. What's going on with the Lakers? Like, they make that move to get DeAndre Ayton yesterday. Does that help them, you think? I mean, like, you're a Laker guy, you're out there going to games. What's your impression?
I mean, look, it was obvious that in the postseason they needed a center. The Lakers were really struggling with that. They were running a small ball offense, and signing DeAndre Ayton to 2 years, $16.6 million is not a terrible deal. And while he's a guy who has the ability to play that type of role, I just don't think he's going to do a great job with it, or at least what LA is expecting from him. And ultimately, he might even get beat out by Jackson Hayes.
Well, what do you think about LeBron and his future there? Like, do you think we hear rumors every day, like we always do? But, like, you know, the possibility that he could leave town before the season starts, right? To go to Cleveland, Dallas, New York. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are in a really interesting situation because Rob Pelinka, he came out and said Lakers, they didn't want to re-sign Dorian Finney-Smith to preserve the cap space to go out and sign like a max contract free agent in 2027. But that led to like LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, coming out and tweeting something along the lines of, LeBron wants the Lakers to win now and go all in, but the Lakers are preparing for the future. And what's so strange about this is the team doesn't have any future assets. So the only thing that they could have done to solve that would have been trading LeBron, but that didn't happen. And I know it could still happen, but I don't see that happening. So Lakers are kind of stuck at this middle ground, second round loss territory, where at a point, like as a GM, it just becomes a nightmare because I honestly have no idea how you get out of this.
What's the vibe around the team out there in LA? Like, are people excited about, because you look on paper and that's LA for you. It's just like the Dodgers. Like, you look at their roster, it's like, bam, it just jumps out at you, right? We saw Kershaw make the 3,000th strikeout last night. You always talk about Ohtani, like LA, just big show, right? The Lakers have LeBron and they have Luka. Are people satisfied with that, or do they want more from this team before the season starts?
I think that I think most people want the Lakers to try and go out and get a couple more players. That's people in LA, but they just don't really have that many assets to go and get these big name people. And so I think that people in LA just don't think that this LA, like the squad on paper, while it's a good team, I don't think that people think that they're gonna like actually contend for a title, especially because of how difficult the West is. I mean, compared to the East, I don't see it happening. So yeah, I feel
and LeBron, you're telling me LeBron's really their biggest asset, right? To bring more people in, they'd have to trade him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if they want to prepare for the future, and like Rob Pelinka said, you know, try and go out and grab a max free agent in 2027. They have to trade LeBron. He's their best aging asset, and there have been teams interested. You know, the Warriors were very interested. They could have got some very good assets from them. like picks. They could have gotten Jonathan Kuminga during the regular season. He's gone now, but so I mean, I feel like they kind of lost their chance at this point.
All right, let's talk about the Bucks. I mean, they're trying to keep their chance alive and keep Giannis in town. I guess trying to keep him happy. What did you make of the move to waive Dame Lillard? I mean, Dame's got to be super happy. He's getting like $122 million for doing nothing, I guess, right? I mean, so he's cool. I mean, I've heard people around his camp say like he's actually not that disappointed. What have you heard about that?
I mean, so to get Miles Turner, they had to waive Damian Lillard, and they deferred the rest of the $113 million they owe for $23 million over the next 5 years. So I guess that helps of it not being such a big burden on them. And I understand, why they did this, why all the teams in the East are trying to go out and contend. But I think that I mean, like you said, I'm not surprised that Dame is happy. He's going to be out for most of next season, and I don't know if Milwaukee's really a place you want to be if you're just not going to be playing basketball, to be honest.
What other big news, free agency, has kind of jumped out at you? Because honestly, dude, like we're all living on our phones. I mean, there's updates coming through all the time. And it kind of takes a minute to be like, wait, is this a big deal? Oh, it is a big deal. Like, because we just get so much stuff thrown at us. What has happened over the past like 2 or 3 days or this week that's really blown you away as a really important move that maybe people aren't talking about?
All right. So in the Eastern Conference has really been the main focus of teams trying to go out and sign these players to contend, because all these top 6 level teams are just, they're realizing that without a healthy Celtics team, without a healthy Pacers team, the East is really wide open. So a team like the Pistons is going out and trying to sign a lot of solid role players to help out Cade. So they signed Duncan Robinson to 3 years, $48 million in a sign-in trade where they gave up Simone Fontecchio. They got Karis LeVert, 2 years, $29 million. Re-signed Malik Beasley, got Paul Reed. So they're also trying to make moves because they think that they have the ability to contend, and I think they do as well if Cade takes another step.
You mentioned Malik Beasley. What do you think about all that stuff like going on around that? Have you heard anything or read anything recently like that's a little more on that gambling situation potential?
Yeah, so it's an interesting situation, and it kind of reminds. I don't think it's fully the same, but it kind of reminds me of the Jonte Porter situation from last year.
Yeah,
I don't know too much about it because I do know I know that's serious, but it's definitely gonna hurt for them if he has to end up missing time, because he was I think he was a top 5 3-point shooter last year. I could be wrong about that. He was
you're right. You're right. Yeah, he was he had the best season ever in Detroit. I think 3-point shooting percentage, and he was atop the league leaders. Like he had a wonderful year.
Yeah, it was kind of overshadowed a little bit, but like if really looking at the numbers, he had a great year. He was definitely a good glue guy for that Pistons team, and I think he helped bring back the Pistons culture. One of the guys who was really he was very important to bringing that back.
Yeah. What about the Knicks hiring Mike Brown? What did you like? We were talking about that earlier. I thought the Knicks probably got better than they deserved, right? Because it was kind of such a messy situation. I know, Mike Brown's coached in LA. It was years ago, but he's coached superstars like Kobe and obviously LeBron in Cleveland. What do you think about that hire?
I mean, it's not bad. I would say it's definitely I mean, he has experience. He's a good coach, but it was really interesting. I heard Stephen A say this. It lacks sizzle, and that's kind of what you want from a team in New York. So
yeah,
I don't think it's going to get them over the hump. I don't think it takes them over the edge. I think they're still capped at. I mean, they really should have never gotten rid of Tibbs. I mean,
yeah,
he was I mean, I don't know if media wise he was great, but he definitely knew how to coach the team. And I think the team actually liked him a lot. I think they'll like Mike Brown too, but in terms of NBA coaching, it's just not the same.
Any other nuggets you got for me before we go that I didn't ask you or I left out?
I mean, this is more of a trade, but I think it's pretty interesting that the Nuggets traded Michael Porter Jr. and a first for Cam Johnson. To me, this is really solid for the Nuggets. Getting rid of that MPJ contract, basically got a better version of him without only having to give out a first rounder. But I don't love it for the Nets. You know, they have so many picks that might not be as useful as it would be for other teams who lack picks. So I feel like they should have gotten more also for taking on that contract because it's not a great one.
All right, Shayal, man, you deliver the goods, brother. I mean, I maybe if you don't want to be an agent, you can certainly be one of the next up and coming NBA insiders. So I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it, brother. We'll do it again soon. And yeah, tell my man JT I said what's up. I'm going to call him today and tell him that we had the legend Shayal on. So I appreciate it, dude.
All right, thanks, man.
Take it easy, brother. How cool is that, man? Strength in numbers is legit. I'm a board member, by the way. So if you want to check it out online, it's strengthinnumeros.com. Shayal is a part of, one of the kids who's a camper there, and they have camps in Charlotte that's already passed. By the way, they're all full this year, so you got to wait till next year, or maybe reach out to me. We can call in a favor possibly. New York City, which I'll be at towards the end of July. I think it's July, like the week of July 21st, and then LA next week. Shayal was talking about it. So we're Big 12 Media Days. My man John Tobias and Strength in Numbers, they're going to be helping kids understand, kids that don't have the opportunity and don't have the access maybe. He's letting them know that, hey, this is out there for you. And I think that is so important, the exposure. I always say, that guys like Patrick Mahomes and Steph Curry, like they have a leg up on everybody else because their dads played in pro leagues and they were exposed to the ballparks. They were exposed to the vibe, exposed to the feel. And I think that gives them a leg up. So the more exposure we can grant these kids, the better off they are. For me, I mean, Craig Miller was a sports information director of Villanova. He became a good friend of my mom's and ultimately a good friend of mine. And I felt like I was always around the sports information office, always around Villanova basketball practice and whatever. And I felt like, I was a part of, and it didn't seem that out of reach. So now here you guys are stuck with me. All right, the Pete Sousa Show. We're off tomorrow. We will be back Monday. We'll be getting you fired up for Big 12 Media Days. Big 12 Media Days next Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's go. We're almost there. By the way, like and subscribe, please. All right, see you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.